Hello and welcome. Today, we're jumping right into a dilemma that, let's be honest, is on pretty much every parent's mind these days. It's that constant tug of war between the classic, sun-soaked playground and the magnetic glow of a screen. It feels like a really big deal because it gets to the very heart of what childhood is all about. So let's just ask it straight up. Playgrounds or tablets? Which one is actually better for our kids? Now, the easy answer, the one that probably pops in your head right away, is the playground. Duh, right? Well, it turns out the real story is way more complicated and honestly a lot more interesting than you might think. So let's dive in. First up, we've got to establish what everyone just kind of assumes to be true. The common wisdom. It's the advice we've all heard and probably even dished out ourselves about how our kids should be playing. Okay, so this slide just lays it all out, right? It's the traditional argument in a nutshell. On one side, you have the outdoor playground, the undisputed champion of physical health, building strong muscles, and learning how to actually talk to other human beings. And on the other side, mobile games. They're usually painted as the villain, the cause of bad posture, eye strain, and social isolation. Looking at this, the verdict seems like a slam dunk. Outdoor play wins. But is that really the whole story? All right, let's head to our first battleground, physical movement. And this is exactly where we find the first surprising twist in this whole screen versus sun saga. First things first, let's give credit where it's absolutely due. Our sources are all on the same page here. Outdoor play is a total powerhouse for physical development. We're talking about building strong bones, fighting obesity, boosting heart health. There's just no denying the incredible benefits of good old-fashioned running, jumping, and climbing around in the fresh air. But here, this is where that common wisdom starts to fall apart a little bit. Is all screen time just sitting there? Is it really fair to throw every single digital experience into the same lazy bucket? The research actually gives us a pretty clear answer. Absolutely no. And this, right here, explains why. Let me introduce you to something called active video games, or AVGs. You might know them as XR games. Look, these are not your typical sink into the couch for hours kind of games. As this scientific review explains, they require your body to actually move to play. They basically flip the script and turn screen time into actual physical activity.
So, how much activity are we really talking about? The data is actually kind of stunning. That same review found that these games consistently get you to an energy expenditure of 3 to 6 METs. Now, what on earth does that mean? Well, to put it simply, it's the exact same level of physical activity as going for a brisk walk. We're not talking about just fidgeting your thumbs here. This is legitimate light to moderate exercise.
And it doesn't even stop there. The research shows that some of these games, like virtual boxing or those super intense dancing games, can push you even further. They can actually qualify as vigorous exercise. So yeah, the whole idea that screen time is always sedentary, it's just outdated. Okay, so we've covered the body. Now let's talk about the brain. How do these two different worlds, the digital and the analog, really stack up when it comes to making our kids smarter? I love this side-by-side comparison. It shows so clearly that outdoor or analog play is fantastic for boosting things like creativity and solving problems on the fly. But then, look over at the digital side. It brings its own totally unique set of brain benefits. Better hand-eye coordination, sharper problem solving, and get this, even faster decision-making. So it's not like one is smart play and the other is dumb play. They're just different workouts for different mental muscles. All right, now for the big one, social skills. The story we're always told is that playgrounds build friendships and video games build lonely kids in basements. But in today's world, is it really that black and white? Let's find out. This quote really hits the nail on the head. For some kids, especially those who find all that face-to-face stuff really overwhelming, the world of online gaming can be a social lifeline. It can be a place where they finally feel like they fit in, like they're accepted and part of a team, sometimes for the very first time. Of course, let's be real. Neither world is perfect. On the playground, kids are learning how to share, how to work together, and how to sort out their arguments face-to-face. But in the virtual world, they're facing a whole different set of challenges, right? Like dealing with competitive trash talk, trolls, and all that pressure to perform. Each one is its own complicated social training ground. So, what can parents do to help their kids navigate all this? Well, this article gives some really clear, practical advice. It's about teaching them digital manners, showing them how to block and report the trolls, and this one's huge, shifting the focus from just winning to actually enjoying the game. And, maybe the best tip of all, just play with them. It's the fastest way to really get what their world is all about.
Okay, we've talked about the physical, the cognitive, and the social side of things. Now let's try to pull it all together and build a totally new way of thinking about play. This table really does a great job of summing it all up. Just look across the columns. Outdoor play, still the undisputed king of high-intensity, full-body movement. No question. But look, active video games are right there, holding their own with real, light to moderate activity. And when you get to the brain and social skills, you see that every column offers something valuable and unique. Outdoor play is great for face-to-face skills. AVGs sharpen reflexes and can be a social safe haven. And yeah, even sedentary digital play has a role in building strategy and logic. So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's not that screens are good or bad. It's that the old debate we've been having is just asking the wrong question. The focus shouldn't really be on the medium, screen versus outdoors. It should be on the quality of the activity itself. And that leaves us with a much bigger and I think much more useful question. Instead of pitting playgrounds against pixels in some kind of death match, maybe we should be asking something else entirely. How can we make all forms of play better? How can we get more movement into their screen time, spark more creativity in their outdoor time, and build more positive social connections no matter where they are? Now that is a conversation worth having.